Okay, here we are at the end of round 12, and at this stage you should have 120 stitches. So to close the round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 1 from the beginning. So slip stitching, focus camera, slip stitch, close round, and I'm not going to be changing this colour just yet. I'm going to stick with the dark blue. And moving on to round 13, we're going to chain up 1 and put a single crochet straight into that stitch beneath the chain 1 where we've slip stitched into. So single crochet into that same stitch, and once you've done that, you're going to chain 23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and there is my chain of 23. Now what we want to do next is we're going to count 24 stitches, and on the 24th stitch, because we're going to skip 23 stitches, and then we're going to put a single crochet into the 24th stitch along. So what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and on this stitch just here we're going to single crochet. So single crochet into the 24th stitch along from that chain of 23. So that's what that's going to look like. Okay, so our next step on this round is to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches and single crochet into the 3rd stitch. And then again, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 2, single crochet into the 3rd one along. And we're going to do that 15 times. Okay, so I've completed the 15th one of those, and now we're going to make another chain of 23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is my chain of 23. And once again we're going to skip 23 stitches and put a single crochet into the 24th stitch along. And there we have, skipped 23 stitches, single crochet into the 24th stitch, and now we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the 3rd stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the 3rd, just like that. And then we're going to finish up by doing that 9 times till we get to the beginning of the round, and we're going to slip stitch into the single crochet from the beginning to the chain 1 from the beginning. So do that 9 more times, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round, and we'll finish up and I'll show you where to go from there. Okay, so here I am at the end, and you can see with that last chain 3, to finish that up I'm going to be slip stitching into that chain 1 from the beginning, and that's what's going to finish the round. So, slip stitching just like that. Okay, now for round 14 I'm going to continue with the dark blue yarn for the moment. Now what we do is we chain 1. So we've chained 1, and we're going to put a single crochet into the first chain of this chain 23. So by that I mean this one just here. So put a single crochet into this chain, then chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then moving on, we skip 2 chains. So skip that one, and then put a single crochet into the third chain along, and we're going to do that 7 times. Chain 3, skip 2, 1, 2, and put a single crochet into the third chain. We're going to do this 7 times across this chain of 23. Okay, now that you've done that 7 times across that chain of 23, you're going to chain 3 again, so 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put a single crochet into that first chain space of 3 at the bottom just there, so just like that. Then once again chain 3, moving on to the next chain space of 3, single crochet, and you're going to be doing that 15 times till you get to the next chain of 23. Okay, now that you've done that 15 times at the bottom just there, we're going to chain 3 again, so I've already done that, do it again. You're going to chain another 3, 1, 2, 3, and moving on to the next chain of 23, you're going to count 3 chains along and single crochet into the third chain along. So 1, 2, yeah, look, I'll point to it with that. 1, 2, and the third chain along on that chain of 23, single crochet. Then again, chain 3, skipping 2 chains along, 1, 2, single crochet into the third chain, and you're going to do that 7 times. But on the 7th one, you're going to put your single crochet into the single crochet at the beginning. What's that noise? At the beginning of that chain. Okay, so I'll meet back up with you when you've done that. So 7 times with the 7th single crochet going into that first single crochet at the beginning of the chain. So here we are, we've finished those 7 chain 3s with single crochets for that sleeve section, and now we're just going to once again chain 3 and single crochet into those chain spaces of 3, and we're going to do that 10 times till we get to the beginning again. Alright, and here we are at that last chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitching into the top of the chain 1, or into the chain 1 from the beginning of the round. So slip stitch, join the round, and there you go. That is round 14. Okay, now for round 15 I'm going to switch yarns, so chaining 1 and trimming the yarn again, just pull that through just like that, and moving on, I think the next one for me is going to be the dark grey. So here we are with the end of that yarn, making a slip knot, and then going back into that stitch where we've tied off our last yarn, back into that slip stitch, we're just pulling our slip knot through and adjust that knot to the hook, and then from there we just chain up 1 and putting a single crochet straight in to the chain space of 3, moving along. So single crochet followed by a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet into the next chain space along, and then chain 3, single crochet into the next chain space along, and you're going to do this just all the way around till you get to the beginning of the round, or until you get to the end of the round, and then you're going to slip stitch into that chain 1, and I'll meet you back there and we'll talk about what to do afterwards. Okay, and here I am on my last chain of 3, so that is 1, 2, 3, and then I just slip stitch into that beginning chain 1. So that one just there, slip stitching into that chain 1 to close the round. And at this stage there should be 40 chain spaces around for that round. So that was round 15, wasn't it? Yeah, so there should be 40 chain spaces around. And from here, what you're going to do for rows 16 and 17, you're just going to repeat that. So we chain up 1 and putting a single crochet straight into the first chain space, so straight into that one just there. So this is row 16, chain 3, single crochet next chain space. Yeah, so just do that same thing for this row and the next row, and then we'll meet back up after row 17 and I'll show you where to go from there. Alright, now so I'm on to round 18 and I've already attached my other yarn, my next yarn, and I've already chained up 1. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet. So we're only chaining up 1, but we're going to put a half double crochet beneath that chain of 1. So there's the chain 1, yarn over and half double crochet into that same space. So half double crochet just like that. And then moving on to the chain space of 3, we're going to put 3 half double crochets into that chain space of 3. So 1, 2 and 3 into that chain space. Then moving on and into the single crochet, into that stitch we're going to put a half double crochet. So half double crochet into that stitch. Then moving on to the next chain space, 3 half double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. 3, and then moving on to the next single crochet, we put a half double crochet into that stitch, so just like that. And you're going to continue on like that till you get to the end of the round. We'll meet back up again and I'll show you what to do after that. Alright, and here I am at the end of round 18. Now all I do is I slip stitch into that chain 1 from the beginning to close the round. And just like that, and then moving straight on to round 19, we're going to chain up 1, and all we do now is put a half double crochet into every stitch around. Just a simple half double crochet, nothing fancy, bit of a break from fancy stuff for a round. And yeah, and just do that for the whole round, half double crochets into every stitch. And also I forgot to mention there should be 160 stitches at this stage. So I'll meet back up with you at the end of this round, round 19, and we'll talk about what we're going to do after. Okay, I just wanted to meet up with you quickly and show you how this is going to look if you lay it out flat on a surface. So this just gives you a good idea of what's going on. Also, for rows 20 and 21, it's just going to be a repeat of row 19. So just carry on doing that, and then we'll meet back up for row 22, and I'll show you where to go from there. But yeah, I think this is really looking good. I'm really happy with this. Alright, see you soon. Okay, now that I've completed round 22, and I have 176 stitches, and I've slip stitched into the chain 1 at the beginning of the round. The next 3 rounds, so rounds 23 through to 25, are just going to be repetitions of the same thing. So we're just going to be chaining up 1 and putting a half double crochet into each stitch around. No increases, nothing fancy again, just half double crochets for 3 straight rounds. So we'll just do that, and I'll come back when I've completed those rounds, and we'll talk about what to do next. Okay, now that I've completed round 22 and I have 176 stitches and I've slip stitched into the chain one at the beginning of the round, the next 3 rounds, so rounds 23 through to 25, are just going to be repetitions of the same thing. So we're just going to be chaining up 1 and putting a half double crochet into each stitch around. No increases, nothing fancy again, just half double crochets for 3 straight rounds. So we'll just do that and I'll come back when I've completed those rounds and we'll talk about what to do next. Alright, now that I've completed round 25, we're going to move on to round 26. So to do that, we're going to chain up 1, and we're still putting in half double crochets, so a half double crochet into every stitch, with 2 half double crochets for this round into every 11th stitch along. So you're going to go around putting 2 half double crochets into every 11th stitch, and by the end of this round you should end up with 192 stitches. So after we've done this, we're going to do rounds 27 and 28 are just going to be plain rounds of half double crochet with no increases. And when we get to the end of round 28, we'll meet back up and we'll talk about what to do for round 29. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So 2 half double crochets into this stitch. And yep, just working around every 11th stitch, 2 half double crochets. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of round 28 and we'll talk about round 29. Okay, now that I've finished round 28, I'm just going to run you through the last 2 rounds quickly because there's nothing too complicated going on anymore and there's just 2 more rounds left of this. So rounds 29 and 30. So I'm changing colours again and basically it's just still half double crochets, but for round 29 you're going to put 2 half double crochets into every 12th stitch, and then for round 30 you're going to put 2 half double crochets into every 13th stitch. So at the end of round 29 you should end up with 208 stitches, and then for round 30 you should end up with 224 stitches. So again, that's 2 half double crochets into every 12th stitch for round 29, and 2 half double crochets into every 13th stitch for round 30. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to do that. I'm going to finish up my rounds. And then at the end, we'll try on our boleros. We'll see how they look. I think they're going to look pretty good. I mean, mine's starting to look like a bit of a tablecloth or a doily or something, but I'm sure when I put it on, it'll look okay. So anyway, yes, we'll do that, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so here it is all finished. This took quite a while to come up with just because, you know, stitch counts and measurements and all that. The armholes are a little tight, which is kind of surprising, but I think it's the yarn that I used, which is sort of different from the yarn that I used to make the test one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll probably still wear this one out in public, and I might actually make some sleeves for it. Yeah. So yeah, it's something to work on, and I will be working on it a bit more to see if I can come up with a way to make other sizes. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you like this bolero, and I'll see you next time.